You know when you see your cat just intensely sniffing the air and you have to wonder, what on earth are they experiencing right now? Well, while we see the world, they actually smell it, and they smell it in a kind of high definition we can't even imagine. Today, we're going to take a little journey into that invisible world, guided by your cat's most powerful tool, its nose. So let's just start with a big question. What does a trip to the vet, or a new person coming into your house, or even just you walking through the door, what does that actually smell like to them? It's a sensory reality that is so profoundly different from ours, it's basically a superpower.
And when I say superpower, I am not kidding. Get this number in your head. 200 million. That's roughly how many scent receptors are packed into your cat's nose. It's a number that's so big it's kind of hard to grasp, so let's put it into perspective.
Okay, look at this. The difference is just staggering. We humans, we've got about 5 million scent receptors. A cat has up to 40 times that. This isn't just about smelling things more strongly. It means they are living in a world of detail and complexity that is completely invisible to us.
So how do they do it? I mean, this incredible ability, it isn't just about having more parts. It's about having seriously specialized, high-tech, biological hardware. So let's kind of pop the hood and take a look at what makes a cat's nose a true super sensor.
And right away, here's the first big surprise. For all practical purposes, your cat has two different smelling systems, and they're working at the same time. It's like a dual-channel setup for decoding the world, and each one has a totally different job.
So first you have what's called the main olfactory system, or the MOS. Think of this as the classic nose that we're all familiar with. Its job is to pick up all those everyday airborne scents floating around. You know, the smell of their dinner, the perfume on your clothes, the scent of a squirrel that just ran across the lawn. It's their general purpose tool for just checking out what's going on.
But then there's the second system, the vomeronasal organ, or VNO. This one's a little more mysterious. You know that funny, scrunched-up face your cat makes sometimes when they're smelling something? It's called the phlegm response, and that's them using their VNO. It's like a specialized decoder for reading secret messages like pheromones, giving them a whole other layer of social information.
And having this dual system is what allows cats to take part in this incredibly complex communication that's happening all around us, all the time, completely unseen. Seriously, you can think of it like a scented social network, where cats are leaving status updates, profile info, and relationship statuses for every other cat to read.
And they post these updates in a few key ways. The ones we know best are probably urine spraying and when they rub their cute faces on things. But they're also leaving messages with secretions from their anal glands and even from scent glands in their paws every single time they use a scratching post.
And this is just a brilliant way to understand the different messages they're sending. Urine spraying, that's like a giant public billboard. It's a territorial shout that says, "I was here, this is mine." Facial rubbing, though, is way more personal. It's like leaving a little comforting post-it note for themselves that says, "This spot is safe," or "I'm part of this family," which actually helps lower their own stress levels. Okay, so we know they can read messages from other cats, loud and clear. But what about us? We're a huge part of their world, and each of us has a totally unique scent signature. Forever, we've just assumed they know us by smell, but, science, it always wants proof.
And this brings us to a really key question that researchers in Japan decided to tackle in a brand new study. Can a cat truly tell the difference between the scent of their owner and the scent of a complete stranger? Let's take a look at how they figured it out.
They used this really clever method. First, they'd let a cat sniff a scent sample from its owner. Then they'd present it again, and again. And naturally, the cat gets bored and stops sniffing for as long. That's called habituation. But then, they suddenly swap in a scent sample from an unknown person. And the whole experiment hangs on this one question. Does the cat notice the change?
And here it is, the core finding. The cat spent way more time sniffing the stranger's scent. Now, that might sound a little backward, right? Wouldn't they prefer their owner's smell? Well, in this kind of experiment, it's the new, surprising thing that grabs your attention. So that longer sniff time for the new smell is the giveaway.
This chart just shows it perfectly. See? The sniffing time for the familiar owner's scent is low. It's old news. But when that unfamiliar stranger's scent shows up, bam, the sniffing time shoots way up. That sudden jump in interest is the proof. It's the moment the scientists can say, aha, they noticed.
So here's the bottom line, the really crucial takeaway. This study gives us the first solid scientific evidence that cats have the cognitive ability to discriminate between people based on nothing but their smell. They know what their human smells like, and they know when a smell is not their human.
But hold on, because it gets even more amazing. It's not just about detecting smells. Newer research is showing that cats are actively thinking about what they're smelling. They're processing all this information in really sophisticated ways.
The cat's sniff isn't just an automatic reflex like breathing. No, it's a deliberate, cognitive act. It's an investigation. And the key to understanding this actually comes down to which nostril they decide to use.
That's right. Their brain function is split, and it goes all the way down to their nostrils. Research shows that new, emotionally charged, or maybe even threatening smells tend to be sniffed with the right nostril. That sends signals to the right side of the brain. Think of it as the alarm processor. Meanwhile, familiar, safe, everyday smells are handled by the left nostril, which is connected to the brain's categorization center. And this direct line from the nose to the brain's emotional centers, it just explains so much about cat behavior, doesn't it? A new place, like the vet's office, isn't just visually scary. It is an overwhelming flood of new, alarming smells that are constantly triggering that right brain alarm system, which leads to a whole lot of stress.
Okay, so now that we're armed with all this incredible science, what do we do with it? Well, we can actually use this knowledge to speak our cat's language a little better and make their lives less stressful. Let's just run through a few key ways to build a more scent-friendly home.
First off, try to avoid harsh chemical cleaners in their main safe zones, like their bed or favorite scratching post. When you use something like bleach, you're basically wiping out all their comforting "I belong here" messages. Here's a great tip. When you bring something new and potentially scary into the house, like a cat carrier, leave it out for a while and let your cat rub its face all over it first. That way, they're coating it in their own scent, making it part of their safe territory. And one last thing that's really important for owners of breeds like Persians, that adorable flat face actually comes at a cost. It can reduce the size of their internal olfactory equipment, which might impair this incredibly important sense and make them even more stressed out by new places.
So the next time you see your cat sniffing the air or rubbing on a chair or giving your shoes a thorough investigation, you'll know it's not just some simple reflex. It is a complex process of reading, thinking, and feeling. So the real question to leave you with is this: what story is your cat's nose telling them about their world right this second?
This whole explainer was built on some truly fascinating research from scientists all over the world. Thank you so much for diving into the incredible world of scent with me today.